Hello there and welcome to my channel. My name is Shan and this is Shan Plays. Today I'm super duper excited. Okay, look, I don't know how to start a video without saying I'm super duper excited because apparently super duper excited is just my general state of mind. But the reason I'm excited this time is because this build is giving me an excuse to play possibly my favorite ever royalty-free song. It's called Crunk Night, and I always wanted to use it. Like, I've had it around for a while and I've always wanted to use it, and I just, I didn't really have any content that would work for it. Today, we are building a castle. It's not supposed to be a specific type of castle. It's not like, oh, this is a medieval castle from Germany or whatever. Basically, I just, looked up some pictures of castles online, saved a couple that I thought were super cool, and then basically just made this out of my own brain. I've never made a castle in The Sims before, believe it or not. And the reason I made it was because I was really wanting to build something. I didn't know what to build. I mentioned this to one of my friends, and they suggested a castle. And, how could I say no to a suggestion of a castle? And so here we are. This build has been a struggle so far, and I'll be level with y'all. I haven't actually finished it yet. Yeah, the video that you're watching was initially about it was over 3 hours long. I cut it down and sped it up, but I've spent some time on this build, and I'm having trouble deciding how to furnish the inside. So I thought, you know what? This is going to be a long build anyway. I'll just go ahead and record the voiceover for part 1 because there's going to be at least a part 2, possibly more. I'm really unsure as I haven't, filmed it yet. But I thought I could go ahead and do this voiceover, edit this video, and maybe it would give me time to reflect on my build and help me decide how I wanted to finish the inside. At this point, I'm really wanting to add in some supports because I wanted to have a part that was hanging off a little, and I didn't want it to look unnatural. So I'm just going to be fiddling around with the supports here for a little bit while I get that sorted out. One of the things you may have noticed is my bridge thingy I have across there. I'm not sure exactly what to call it. I'll call it a walkway. Anyway, it's got this kind of uneven edge at the top, and to me that boxy, blocky, up and down style, that jagged edge, whatever, has always just been the most castle-y looking thing ever. As a kid, when I drew castles, I'd always add that in there. So of course, when I went in to build a castle in The Sims, I had to include that, and the way I did it was pretty simple. I just alternated between using the second shortest half wall height and the third shortest half wall height, and then I just went ahead and added the I think it's like the stone topper on them, something like that. But yeah, I did make sure to use the stone one just because it's a castle. I had to play a lot. Well, I did have to play a lot. This is kind of an extensive build. I had to play around a lot with the floor plan and the roofing just because I was kind of making this out of my brain. I did have a few inspiration pictures, but I wasn't trying to build any particular castle. I wasn't trying to build any particular, genre, not a specific time period or country or anything. So it's more of a fantasy castle than anything. It was also really important to me to have a good tower. So I made sure to do that. I definitely make a lot of mistakes along the way, and this process could have been a lot more streamlined if I was more experienced with castle building, but I'm not. This is my first time. So it was a really interesting challenge. It was fun experimenting. I did use the like terrain tool a lot in this build. I usually don't use it. I just leave the lots flat. But in this case, I thought it seemed pretty important to have it elevated. Castles are usually on hills or some elevated area in order to, have the higher ground in case of an attack and just to be able to have a good lookout. So I did go ahead and build the ground up more than I would for, just like a normal house. You may have... Sorry, my dog just growled. It is raining. I don't like the rain. My dog doesn't like the rain. I'm sure it's why he's growling. If you hear it in the background, bonus points. I had a lot of trouble trying to determine what wallpaper and flooring to use on this build. I kind of go back and forth a little bit with it for a while. I considered making the back of the castle look more aged with that green mossy stuff from Jungle Adventure, just because it does back up to a river, but I did eventually decide against it. Oh yeah, but the weather. How about that weather, huh? Anyway, the rainstorm. I really don't like storms. They kind of freak me out, so if it happens to thunder or something while I'm doing this voiceover, I will probably be like, it was something drastic like that. I'm just, oh yeah, I felt very clever about what I just did there. So I tried several different railings for the staircase, and the only one that I liked at all was that kind of wrought iron one from Vampire, what was it called? The Vampire Pack. What was it called? Anyway, from Vampires. And because of the way the railing works, it did not align properly with the half wall I was using. So I just added an extra section of fencing or railing, and it layered over the slanty bit of railing on the stairs, and it attached appropriately to the half wall. So it turned out good after all. I'm just going to mess around with stairs for kind of a long time now. I really wanted to get a kind of twisty, windy staircase. My inspiration was from, I don't know if you've ever seen Spirited Away, but in one scene, Chihiro is just going down this rickety staircase at top speeds, and I wanted something like that. Unfortunately, no matter what I did, I couldn't make it work. A lot of it had to do with my terrain manipulation earlier, but I did want to have a back staircase just because of the concept of a staff entrance, but also because with a build this big, it seems a bit silly to only have one entrance. I'm just going in and adding tons of columns now. In the pictures of castles I looked at, none of them had columns like this. However, just because of the art style of The Sims, when I was looking at it, it's a pretty multi-dimensional build. There's lots of, bits and pieces going hither and thither, and it just kind of, to me, didn't look prominent enough. So I did add these columns as almost sort of like line art, so it's almost a little bit cartoony. It looks ridiculous with the walls down, but I just wanted to make sure that the different sections stood out from each other. And at this point I realized I was having issues with my, I don't remember what it's called, but that kind of border that goes along the edges of roofs. I wanted to have it on that one sticky outy part on the right hand side, and it just wouldn't do it no matter what I did. I got frustrated for a little bit and started adding gargoyles around the tower. Because that's generally, good advice when you get frustrated, is just add gargoyles. But when I realized I couldn't actually get it to work how I wanted, I just started adding vines or ivy or whatever all over it. because I thought, hey, if I can't have this border, I want to have something there so it doesn't look ridiculous. So I did add in these vines, and I was very careful with it, very attentive. And spoiler alert, sorry. I actually solved the problem appropriately later on. And so basically I just didn't need to do any of what I was doing. At this point, I started adding in doors. I really wanted to have some open archways in that walkway. So I added in those archways that came in. I think it came with it was either the 5th anniversary update or the 20th anniversary update. I can't remember which one it was, but whenever they did like the staircase and they added in those kind of Middle Eastern inspired architectural elements, those were the arches I used. So they are base game, but they're actually really new items. I loved how they turned out. I struggled a lot with the windows in this build just because there's not like a specific medieval stuff pack or something. I would absolutely love to have a game pack that was like Renaissance Festival or something, or like a time travel pack. I don't know. I really enjoy making builds that are kind of from specific time periods, or in this case have the vibe of being old. So if we could get some sort of expansion pack, preferably a game pack, I think would be the right kind of like size level for such a pack, where we got some really architecturally and, you know, furniture specific items to help period builds look more accurate and just make it easier for builders who want to do that kind of thing. Because as it is, we have a ton of Victorian stuff. We got a lot of it with vampires, we got a lot of it with Romantic Garden, and we got a lot of it with Strangerville. So I love making Victorian houses personally, and it's great for that in The Sims, but something like this that's supposed to be, you know, from like the I don't know, like the 1200s to the 1600s. I don't know when they built castles. I don't know. I'm an American, if you hadn't noticed. We don't have castles here. Actually, I did visit what is advertised as a castle in Missouri. I don't remember the name of the park, but it's near Lake of the Ozarks. Anyway, it's this ruin that this like eccentric billionaire, well, not billionaire, this eccentric rich dude built, and then it burned down, and anyway, it has ruins now, and it's pretty cool. It's a park. You can walk around. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I'm not counting it though, because it's from like the 1800s or 1900s. It was, you know, made to look older than it actually was. In any case, I did eventually find windows and doors that seemed suitable for the style I was going for. I also wanted to add some roof details. I added in these dormers. I thought they looked kind of cool. I'm not sure if they really match the, you know, fantasy castle aesthetic or not, but I did think they added some nice dimension to the roof, so, you know, I went with them. I also added roof decorations on all of the peaks of the roofs and the tips of the turrets. I thought they looked pretty cool. I honestly almost think it makes the build look more Victorian. However, it just looked unfinished without them, so that's what they got. That little bump out I just made, a la Little Simsy, yep, bump out inspiration there. Anyway, I made that. I was thinking that that would be like the kitchen area right over there. I want to add in some servants' quarters, or at least a bedroom for a hypothetical butler. But I don't know exactly where I'll put them. I don't know. I was thinking maybe, so I've got some ideas. In the biggest building, the one I'm putting windows on right now, I was thinking of having that be kind of like the main part So that's where you're gonna have like your entryway and your grand dining room. I'll have the kitchen in there. I want to have a cool bedroom or more than one cool bedroom in that turret. I think that would be pretty sweet. The one in the back corner, closest to camera right now, that little building, I was thinking perhaps that could be the servants' quarters. And the one I put vines all over, I was thinking about making it like a wedding venue. Kind of, you know, a little church type thing. I just thought it seemed sort of like a chapel. As for the tower, I definitely want to have a bedroom in it. My imagination there was going along with like the Tower of London or Rapunzel, in which towers were used as sort of a prison. So I was thinking that, you know, if someone was being held captive there, they'd have a bedroom. So it seems like a great place for a bedroom. That actually seems really dark now that I say it out loud. At this point, I'm starting to do some landscaping. I really just wanted to get that slope covered up. And to be honest, I was very impressed by how well the landscaping went. I mean, it's not like I did a great job or anything, but for whatever reason, the game was just cooperating really well with me, or really well for me this time around. Stuff was pretty much staying where I wanted it. It wasn't jumping around too much. I really wanted to get a fountain, but I was having trouble with it. One trick that I used to place items near that giant foundation was that I just used top-down mode. You know, you just press, like, I believe the T as in Tom. I think it's also available if you use your mouse, like, at the upper right-hand corner somewhere. But I've noticed that whenever you place items near the foundation from top-down view, they are less prone to jumping up a level. So if that's something you have a problem with and you've already done a lot of really detailed work on the outside, you do not want to bring your foundation down, I definitely recommend trying that out and seeing if it works for you, because it works pretty well for me. At this point, I'm just trying to clean up some interior walls left over from building, and when I do this, it kind of messes up a lot of the details on the outside, so I have to redo it. But it definitely is going to make it easier when I'm trying to do my floor plan inside. Yeah, see, it totally messed up all those columns and stuff. Very strange. I'm not sure if you actually get to see the moment when I realize fresco? No, they're not called frescoes. Anyway, whenever I realize, yeah, now it's all fixed on the chapel with all the vines on it, and I saw that and I was just like kind of speechless, honestly, because I'd spent so much time on it. Well, we're coming to the end of the video. So if you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give me a like. If you want to see the next installment where I start on the inside, go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell so you'll know whenever I put out a new video. I will talk to you guys later, and when it's complete, I'll have screenshots of everything. Have a great day. Bye-bye.